Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. So happy you're here joining me today on this Instagram Live, Once Upon a Pesto. My name is Jessica Poholski, and here today I will be hosting Lorena with Bake It Up at Lorena. She is in Toronto, so I am currently in Pennsylvania. She's just north of here, and a mighty fine Italian cook. She has her own YouTube channel, Bake It Up with Lorena, and her Instagram handle is bakeitup_Lorena. And she is going to be joining us to talk about Italian cooking, recipes, baking, of course. So if you have a sweet tooth, you are sure to love this. And I am just so excited. We met on Instagram and just clicked right away because obviously pesto is a major part of the Italian cuisine, especially in the upper west region of in Liguria. And she knows that very well. Like I said, she is currently in Toronto and just looking for her to join us here so we can welcome her onto the stage. If you have any questions, post them in the comments, and also be posting this video afterwards, so you can also watch it there, post the comments, and be sure to tag Lorena, again, at bakeitup_Lorena, and she can answer any questions. We'll be happy to join the conversation. So thank you all for joining. As more people are coming here, again, this is Jessica with Once Upon a Pesto, and today we're going to be talking about Italian recipes, Italian cooking, and Italian life in general with Lorena, who is currently living in Toronto in Canada. And we're just waiting here to see her hop on. And here she is. So I'm going to invite her up onto the stage here. And Lorena, she is in Toronto, and she is here to join us today talking about Italian recipes, Italian cooking, and everything Italy. So here's Lorena.
Hi,
Hello.
Jessica.
How are
We
you?
made it. Hold on a second. Let me adjust this one slightly. I wish I can sit. There you
Perfect.
go.
Uh,
Hi.
so nice to see
Hi,
you.
Jessica. So nice to see you. I'm so excited about this.
So Lorena, I was introducing everyone, telling a little bit about where you're from, what you do, the delicious things that you make. So go ahead and tell us more. You know, where in Italy are you from? What brought you to Canada, and what inspires your passion for cooking?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Jessica, for inviting me and for this collaboration,
You're
for this live. So, hi, everyone who is joining right now. I'm very excited to be here. So, thank you so much. And something about me. So, yes, I am Italian. I lived in Canada for in Italy for a very long time. And I moved to Canada 10 years ago. I am from a place called Termoli, which is a town on the Adriatic coast, which is 3 hours basically east of Rome, driving. So it's a very beautiful place. It's a touristic place. I lived there for 2/3 of my life. Then I moved north of Termoli in Abruzzo, Pescara, Francavilla. If anyone is from there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Beautiful beaches, mountains, beautiful. Even though, I mean, Italy is beautiful everywhere you go, really. Not this is my country, but so in 2010, I decided to move for better opportunities. My brother has been living in Canada for a very long time, almost, I guess, 30 years. So, and he kept inviting me. My plan was to stay just for 6 months and then move into the States. But I fell in love with this country. So eventually, when I finally got my papers, and I decided to stay. So, and I moved from Winnipeg because I actually moved from Italy to Winnipeg, which is a very super cold city, very well known in Canada. So you can see up to -50, up to -55. So Mars is basically warmer than Winnipeg can be sometimes. So I lived there in Winnipeg for 3 years, and then I moved to Toronto in 2013. And I've been like, I just love this city. So it's beautiful. It's an amazing place. And baking has been my passion since I was a child. I made my very first cake when I was 5 years old. My
Wow.
grandmother let me play in the kitchen with everything was in the refrigerator. So I decided to put together a lot of eggs, a lot of sugar, a little bit of flour, something like that. And it turned out anything like a cake or a cake. It was awful. It was terrible. But that is what I remember that like yesterday. This picture of this burnt yellowish like cake slash frittata that really looked nothing but like a cake. And I said I will learn how to make to make a cake. Like I will learn, and I wanted. It was a challenge. And I literally fell in love with this idea of putting together some ingredients and being able to come up with something absolutely beautiful and delicious. So here I am. I moved to Canada and I decided to pursue my passion. It started with just a few people on Meetup and became more than 1,000, 1,005. And then with the pandemic, I've been teaching as well in a while. So I took my certificate at college at George Brown College in Toronto. And then, I started teaching and I literally fell in love with teaching. It's something that I absolutely adore. And to share, my passion for baking and with my Italian background, I believe I can make some good things. So here I am.
Awesome. Thank you for that great introduction. So much information. I can just picture the different places you were describing in Italy. So wonderful, Lorena. And I just want to kind of start this conversation. A lot of people love Italian food. And what better person to learn about the true Italian food? It's very regional. It's different in the north, different in the south, different from where you have lived. And so explain that to us. What is it like being Italian, growing up Italian, that home setting? We can go to a restaurant, but is that really the Italian experience that Italians want the world to know?
Well, it is absolutely true that everywhere you go in Italy is different. We have 18, if I remember right, if I was good in school, 18 regions, and really literally from north to south, every single region has its own dialect, its own tradition, history, and recipes as well. So I am from center south Italy, and of course we like to say that South Italian food is the best. But really, literally, wherever you go, if you go northeast, we have Valle d'Aosta, with some French influence. If you go northwest, you have some Austrian influence. Center from Florence, we have wine. If you go Rome, like a lot of different. If you go to Naples, for example, Napoli is an amazing city and known for a very, very rich kind of cuisine. Calabria, they are very known for chili pepper. They eat very, very, like the recipes can be very, very, very spicy. Sicily can have some has some Arab influence. If you go to the hill, Puglia fish, the fish is absolutely amazing, and same with my region. If you go to Abruzzo, going back on the west side, we have the sea, we have the beach, and we have the mountain. So the fish is amazing, and the meat is, with the famous paducci or torcinelli or arrosticini, cheese everywhere. If you go to Emilia Romagna, we have Parmesan. We have Parma, prosciutto di Parma. We have vinegar di Modena. It's from. So as you can see, like really, it's an amazing. Really, literally, wherever you go is different. And I always say, if you have time, if you can do it, if we are supposed to, or whoever, me too, because I didn't really visit all Italy. But best, I always say, will be to visit Italy in 4 different times, and you go north, center, south, and island.
Ah.
Sardinia is beautiful too. The cheese from Sardinia is amazing. So, and I mean, you just have to go. You have to go and try
That's as
and have
easy
your
as you can
experience.
say it.
Yes.
Awesome. And what drew you as a child to baking versus Italian cooking? You know, you talked about when you were 5 years old baking your first cake. What was it about that inspired you?
To be honest, I don't know. Like also because really nobody bakes, like anybody, like nobody bakes in my family. So I really don't understand where this is coming from. I say sometimes from another life, I must have been a pastry chef because really sometimes I think this is not passion, it's almost obsession. If I don't bake, I think about it. If I don't think about it, I dream about it. So it's just like crazy. Nobody in my family bakes. So and I have my sister, for example, she's amazing on cooking fish. My brother is great with cooking anything like homemade pasta, the typical cannelloni, lasagna, this kind of dish. My other brother is more open to different kind of cultures, but baking is just me. What brought me there, to be very honest with you, I don't know. I just remember that experience with that cake that smelled like eggs and burned and awful. It just made click something in my mind. I just said, I want to master this. I want to be able to create what is in my mind.
Mhm.
So, and master it. So, and baking is a very, also because I'm a kind of person that like challenges, and baking can be very challenging. And I am also very precise and very detailed oriented, and very methodic. So you have to like this kind of thing to like baking. And all I know is that I literally fall in love with it, and I think that I'm going to. I do believe that this is never going to change. This is never going to change.
That's awesome. And it's so neat too, Lorena, that you can take that passion, that obsession that you said, and teach others with it. Because baking is very precise, like you said. If there's not the right ratio of certain ingredients, it might turn out completely different. So tell us, what is the recipe that you've either made from getting a recipe from someone else, or a recipe you created and then made yourself, that you are most proud of?
Well, I actually remember one cake when I came to Canada for the first time. That was 2007, and I was looking on internet, talking about 15 years ago, and you could barely see on internet something. There was no YouTube or everywhere everything was online. And I remember that I fell in love with these cakes with fondant. Um, they didn't even know, we didn't even know what fondant was, but I found that on internet and I literally fell in love. So I came to Canada to visit my brother and to decide if I wanted to stay. And the first thing that I did was to take classes at Wilton. I didn't even speak English by the time. Not my English is perfect right now, but at that time, definitely I didn't speak a word. And I said, I don't care. I'm gonna go to, I want to attend the class at Wilton, and I want to learn how to make this fondant. So anyway, to make a story short, in 2 classes I believe, even looking back now at those pictures at that time, I believe like I made the most incredible cake covered with fondant, with marshmallow fondant that I made on my own and with my hands, and looked beautiful. And I remember the teacher looked at that and I said, oh, like, when did you learn? And I don't know, like I was just able to make it. And so with a lot of other recipes, I rarely try a recipe more than once or twice. I'm pretty good at making it right the first or second time if I want to improve it. But that was definitely one of the most challenging. And when I came back to Italy, there was a friend of mine, and I decided to make a cake in fondant, but with chocolate, because again, I don't repeat the same things, right? And the challenge. So now I want to make fondant, chocolate fondant, but, but like with nothing, with no glycerin, no glucose, nothing in Italy. It took me about 7 days.
Wow.
And when I finished, it was 2-layer chocolate with chocolate fondant, with buttercream, with flowers, with sunflowers on top. And I cried when I finished that cake that day. Well, it took me 7 days and almost 7 nights a week. Um, but I almost cried. I was so happy and so excited. Those are the things that sometimes really I cannot explain how you can be so happy over a cake. But so overall, that was I think it was the like one of the best memory I had, because I remember it took me a lot of work with no help, with nobody
Mhm.
teaching, nobody telling me how to do and how to make it. So it was great.
That is awesome. I just love the story, all the work that went into it, taking 7 days. It just, the pride that you have, I can't even imagine. It's such a masterpiece, It's
Yes,
almost like you don't
definitely.
want people to eat it because you want it to last.
Yeah. And then it was actually funny because by that time, again, now they know a little bit more, but they've never seen something like that before, right? So my friends, I went to this party, they look at me like, what is this exactly? Because we make cake with pastry cream, with whipping cream, with syrup, everything super fresh, cannot stay more than 1 day. So they had a hard time to understand and realize that that was a cake and that was edible. But yeah, it was. I don't care. I made it. I'm happy, and that's not perfect.
Oh,
So
that's wonderful. So, Lorena, we talked a lot about the sweet side of baking, but there's a whole nother world, the savory side. And I believe it was the first time I found you on Instagram was through pesto garlic knots, I think that you made. So tell me about the savory side of baking, and how do you balance the two between your sweet recipes and your savory recipes?
okay, this is the. That's a good question, because for me, savory is something completely new. In a way that I always said I will never teach classes on cooking, or, for me, is everything about baking, which is sweet, and savory to me, it's more like cooking. So, and I'm not passionate about cooking. I cook for myself, make what I have to do, and that is very it. But savory, I came across, so I decided to make savory recipes because I get inspired very much on Pinterest.
Mm,
I'm very visual. So, and I started seeing those amazing pictures and recipes, and starting from tarts, because tarts at the end of the day, it's, so if you make tarts, if you make quiche, if you make pizza dough or like a soft dough, it's still basically baking. I said, as long as I put something in the oven, for me, it's still baking. So I decided to start teaching also, because for me, teaching and doing workshops is a way to improve, to get better, to look for recipes, and it's a way for me really like to learn and improve as well. So, and I decided to start this new series on YouTube
mhm.
called Let's Brunch, and the time was perfect. It like I do these classes every other Sunday at 12:30 p.m. So if you want on Sunday, you can bake with me,
Awesome.
and you can make those incredible savory recipes with me. And I have my daughter. My daughter is the most, incredible judge. So if it's not perfect, she's gonna tell me. And she's very demanding as well when it comes to savory. She likes savory more. So, and I started, and she tried those kind of recipes, and you know what? Those are amazing. And you should start doing this. So I looked into that a little bit more, and I got more passionate about it. And so I decided again, to start this new series. And basically, those are savory recipes that are good for brunch or good for breakfast as appetizers. And I try to go with something that is also very simple, very fast, very easy to make, and yet delicious. And with pesto, that was a way, because you see so many garlic bread, garlic cheese bread, and I said, let me do something, Italian, and let me add some pesto. And what a best way to, I'm Italian and I'm going to show and teach how to make pesto. Pesto, basically Genovese, which is from Genova. So where we don't use a lot of garlic. And myself, I make pesto. I only eat the pesto that I make, because I don't like pesto. Sometimes when you buy it ready, can have a little bit of that bitter taste. I don't believe they use fresh basil. They put a lot of garlic. I don't like too much garlic because I feel like they overpower the basil taste and flavor. And I like a lot of cheese, and I like the actual cheese, not the fake cheese that they put in those cookies that you buy. And I love pecorino cheese, and I love Parmesan, the good
The real
Parmesan,
stuff.
staged, like 3 years staged. So, and pine nuts, people put cashew, put almonds, put whatever they have, totally fine, but Italian pesto is that. So I said, what a better opportunity than doing a class teaching pesto, how to make pesto, and with very simple pizza dough that I have on my channel, because I made pizzette with that kind of dough, and it's very soft and it's crunchy outside when you bake it, very light and delicious. So I said, let me do that, this kind of class and workshop where I can teach how to make pesto and show how to make these very simple, beautiful, and super tasty appetizers. So, and it turned out actually very good. They really, really, really were delicious. So I definitely suggest you guys try to go and look at that workshop, because they are the most simple appetizer to make, and yet delicious.
Awesome. And your daughter approved?
100%. Now she wants that every time we see each other, or for a party, or for any occasion. I made them actually I made those during the game. Italy, England, and then I also made quiche. Quiche also is something that she loves because you put a lot of cheese in it. I made asparagus and tomato. Asparagus, tomatoes, and cheddar cheese tarts, mini tarts, to die for. She was happy, yes.
So good.
So what a better. It was a good day.
That's awesome. So I want to ask you, Lorena, more about your childhood in Italy, and give us that experience. What was the dish as a kid that you liked the most, that was served at dinner time, or what kind of traditions in the kitchen really stand out to you and your memory?
Well, my favorite dishes when I go to Italy, I ask my mother every time to make parmigiana, which is it's like a lasagna but made with eggplants, which is not how do you guys call it? Parmesan chicken or chicken parmesan. It has nothing to do with no. Something else. So, and it's very popular. I will say that is one of the main dishes in Italy. On top of lasagna, cannelloni, then you have parmigiana, tagliatelle alla bolognese. No spaghetti and meatball. We don't have spaghetti and meatball. But yes, parmigiana. So basically, you cut those eggplants in thin slices, and then you fry it, and then you make those layers of fried eggplants and a lot of parmesan. tomato sauce, marinara sauce. And if you wish mozzarella, but mainly is on top, and then you keep going. Another layer of this eggplant, a lot of Parmesan cheese and marinara sauce, and then you keep going. And then on top you put a lot of cheese. That is definitely yes, the dish that my mother knows when I fly to Italy, and the time that I walk into the apartment has my Parmigiana, the Parmigiana ready for me. Yes, lots of memory, because those are dishes that you don't eat every day, and that you make in special occasions. People think that we eat lasagna every day, cannelloni every day, or tagliatelle alla bolognese every day, but that is not the case. So those are more dishes that you eat on special occasion, on Sundays, Christmas, Easter, or otherwise it's a lot of food. Yes, that it's a lot of calories. So we have to watch that.
It's so neat. You can just imagine all the layers and layers
and then you bake it, because sorry, because I missed the part. So it's like a lasagna, right? So and then you bake it. So you have this incredible top, delicious cheese, this beautiful crust, and the smell of Parmesan, and right now. But yeah, something delicious for sure.
Awesome. Tell us a phrase that you say in Italy, in Italian, that, if everyone really, really enjoys a meal, what is, kind of a reaction? And what does
Okay,
it mean?
one is if someone asks you, hey, how was that dish or that pasta or that dessert, and then they say, ooh, una delizia. So deliciousness. Or if you are in Naples, then it will be una bellezza, like so beautiful with that, Napolitan accent. That tells us all. So yes, that is the phrase in the sentence.
Wonderful. So Lorena, go ahead and tell us where this conversation has been great. And for anyone else, who's just starting to watch, I totally recommend, when I post it after we finish up here, watch it from the beginning. You're going to enjoy so much. You're going to want to eat all of this Italian food that Lorena has talked about.
Say hi to a few people. I see my nephew here, Francesco. And let's see who we have here. Marisa. Who else? I don't know if you can see who is joining.
I see there was someone from Colombia who joined us. Hello from
Brazil. Let us know where are you watching from. Yes, one from Colombia. Hello, I love pesto. I know, who doesn't love pesto? And then you, Jessica, you have this amazing channel.
Thank you.
Now, can I ask you how you decide to make an actual page about pesto? And if you can tell me something, and to the people that are in front of me, something about you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for asking me a question. This isn't my typical side of the camera. I'm usually the one asking the questions. As a professional, I'm a videographer, so interviews are just my nature, and to be in front of the camera is a little bit different. But Pesto came about when I was in college. I actually traveled to Italy to do a thesis. I made a mini documentary about olive oil. And it was, what is the truth behind the labels, all the marketing? Is it truly extra virgin? And so this kind of unveiling what is maybe not always apparent to consumers kind of then led me to Pesto. People understand Pesto as a generic term. Think of Kleenex. It's one type, but they use it generically. So like you said, Lorena, Pesto Genovese is a specific type. And pesto itself, tell us, where does that word come from in Italian?
Pesto, well, to be honest, that's a good question. I don't know. Oh, yes, I do know. I do know. How could I miss that? So pesto, it's like, it comes from the verb pestare, right?
Yes.
Pistare, which is breaking down, you know,
Uh-huh.
with the actual, what you call mortaio. I don't know how
Yep.
you guys
In English, we call it the mortar and the pestle.
there you go. There you go. So
That's
that is where it's coming from.
Yeah, so my goal with Once Upon a Pesto is to, just to spread awareness and encourage people, inspire people that pesto is a process, right? It comes from that Italian verb. And so it's open to anything, open to interpretation of whichever ingredients you want to use. And I think that then opens itself to help us learn about different cultures and countries, their ingredients and their recipes. And so that is what Once Upon a Pesto is all about.
Interesting. So how long have you stayed in Italy? And how
I
long ago?
Yeah, in 2012, I studied abroad for 4 months in Perugia. And I was able to travel north to south to both islands. Beautiful. Abruzzo was probably my favorite region, second to Umbria, which is where I stayed. So wonderful.
Yeah.
And then my senior year in college, I did my honors thesis in Pacciano, right on the edge of Tuscany and Umbria, uh,
Okay.
at an olive grove, and documented the process of making olive oil. And then my first job after college was with a teen travel company, and I was fortunate enough again to go back to Italy to lead teenagers on this tour. We were in the Cinque Terre. There was a trip in Sicily, and also in Florence and Rome. And so I've been a few times, and I just love it.
It looks like you love it. Like really Italy is very, very interesting. And as I said, really wherever you go, and I believe you can confirm that, it seems like a different country. And it is really incredible how you drive like 5 kilometers and you get into a new town and they speak a different dialect. It is
Mm.
absolutely incredible. So, and again, and every town has their own popular dish, and it's very, very interesting. Yes, definitely beautiful.
Wonderful. And my Italian is very, very elementary. So picking up on the different dialects was not, not something that, but I noticed, in here in the States, we talk about different kind of slang words that are used in different states. And it's a kind of similar experience in Italy with the different dialects from
Yes.
region to region, town to town.
Yes, absolutely. Even though it's a very tiny country, if you think about it.
Mhm.
But yes, really, really, every single region has its own, and town really has its own little tradition and dialect as well. So yeah,
So rich in everything. So
absolutely,
back to the
absolutely.
beginning of the conversation, Lorena, your number one advice would be take a trip.
Take a trip for sure. No, yes, I mean you have to go to it. But like honestly, um, like I will suggest I told to a lot of people that have never been to Europe,
Hmm.
and it's an experience that really, really, really is a must. Like you can't, um, like you can really travel everywhere, but
Mhm.
Europe has something special, really, and it's like Italy, like everywhere you go, like different kind of states that have their own language, like really their own language. Like the US, for example, yes, it's a big, huge country with different kind of dialects, but they speak English. But if you go to Europe, if you go to Austria, they speak a different language. You go to Germany and they speak Deutsch. Go to France and they speak French, Spain, Portugal, Italy, Greek, like they all have different kind of and really different cultures.
Mhm.
So it's amazing. Like I definitely, and then the history. Um, the architecture and the beauty, it is absolutely incredible, and it's really, really worth it, even if you want to do just one state at a time. Or so for example, my dream was always like to get one of those camper and travel around Europe, because I say there is so much to see. And but definitely, once again, not because Italy is my country, Italy really has everything. So from the mountains, the beaches, the lake, the beautiful lake, Lago Maggiore, di Garda. Hey, George Clooney purchased a villa in Lago di Garda, or Lago di Garda, Lago di Como. Lago di Como, Bellagio. So beautiful, 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 like lakes, and then we have beaches, we have islands, we have like everything. Beautiful Colli, you know, in Florence, in Siena. So amazing, really, really. It's really worth it to go. And if you really don't want to do that kind of long, big, huge tour, just start with something different, just to get a taste. Venice, Florence, Rome, those are the places where you want to go and you want to visit just to get an idea. But then if you have an opportunity, once again, I really suggest to visit Italy, you know, north, center, south, and islands. And I've never, ever, ever heard one person saying that they've been to Italy and they didn't fall in love with. So sometimes I don't understand because it's my country and I was born there and I live there and I know the great and the good and the bad. So sometimes I find a little bit difficult, you know, to agree when they say, I want to move to Italy and I want to live there because you guys have an amazing, beautiful, you know, amazing life. And I disagree a little bit on that because there is a lot, obviously, that tourists obviously cannot see, but it's definitely worth it. Rome, Vaticano, you know, Stato del Vaticano. But the art and architecture and history is absolutely amazing. So I definitely suggest and recommend to take a trip to Italy.
Yes, everyone watching now or later, you heard it from Lorena herself. So Lorena, thank you so much for your time joining me today. I want to ask you one last question, and that's where can people find more of what you do, your videos, participate in some of your classes? Tell us how we can find more and follow you.
Okay, so you guys can find me on Instagram at bakeitup_Lorena. On YouTube and Facebook at Bake It Up with Lorena. And I'm on TikTok too, but I'm not so active. This is something new, but yeah, definitely you can, if you go to my channel on YouTube, there is where I have what I do, basically workshops and live every Sunday. So, and there are different series. I do Let's Brunch every other Sunday. Another series is Make It Sweet, which is dedicated to sweets. And another series is Dolce Salato, dedicated to Italian baking, and that means sweet and savory. So anything Italian, and that includes cookies, pizzette, you know, everything about baking. So yeah, the last class, but that was a private class. We made soft amaretti cookies, the very popular traditional one, and that was vanilla one. So in 4 different ways: the classic vanilla almond, and then we made pistachios, and we made mocha chocolate, and the 4th one was hazelnut stuffed Nutella, of course, because you can't forget about Nutella. And yes, no, it's definitely there. You can find lives, workshops, video recipes, and they are posted every Sunday or every week. There is going to be a short break during August because I'm organizing and resetting a few things for the fall. But every Sunday, regardless, there is going to be a new video. So yes, don't forget to go subscribe and hit the bell and blah, 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 like and share and so on. So yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lorena, for your time. All the valuable information that you shared today, your personal experiences, your cooking and baking, I should say, baking expertise. And again, anyone watching, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. Tag Lorena, and she'd be happy to answer. And check her out on YouTube, on Instagram. So much tasty stuff to find, right?
What about you, Jessica? So for the people that are watching, from my page, how
Yeah,
about
yeah.
you?
For Lorena's fans and followers, I'm here on Instagram at Once Upon a Pesto. And then I'm also on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and TikTok are there. But like you said, not as active. It's in its beginning stages. But yeah, every day I post something on here in Instagram. And it's always about pesto.
Absolutely. Well, Jessica, I want to thank you again for this opportunity,
You're
for
welcome.
setting up some times to have a chat and getting to know each other a little bit more, and so your followers and about me and my followers about you. And this was amazing. Thank you for the opportunity of talking a little bit about Italy and Italian culture and food and a little bit of stories. And this was absolutely amazing. Thank you so, so much again. And yeah.
You're welcome. I should say, prego.
Prego, prego. Ok, grazie, 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 grazie. Yeah.
See? Bye, Lorena. Thank you again.
Ciao, ciao guys. Bye. Baci a
Talk
tutti.
soon.
Bye.